Hello, welcome back. Right, today I thought I'd have a look at Solomon's Key on the Amstrad, Commodore 64 and Spectrum. Now the Spectrum is the only version I was familiar with before today. First time today playing Amstrad and Commodore 64 versions. It's again just a vehicle for us to have a discussion and conversation, sharing our memories of whatever particular version of this we had, or whether or not it's a game we would play if we didn't know about it until seeing this video, etc. Now, got the idea because it's a game that I play every now and then, but last week I did a video on a game called Spherical, and I mentioned that the game was very Solomon's Key-esque, and that's what gave me the idea to actually have a look at Solomon's Key. US Gold handled the home releases of this in 1987. I believe it's based on a conversion of a Tecmo arcade game. I don't know the arcade game. There was a sequel or a prequel for the NES called Fire and Ice, which was never released officially on any of the 8-bit systems until 2003, when an excellent conversion of it was made for the Pentagon and Scorpion ZX Spectrum clones from Eastern Europe, Russia, etc. Fire and Ice on the Spectrum is absolutely amazing. Grab yourself a Spectrum emulator, head into Pentagon or Scorpion mode and download it from World of Spectrum, because it is absolutely amazing. If you like Solomon's Key, you will love that game. There is a link to my video of it below, which has links to where you can get it from and how to set it up. But as ever, let's get on with it. Solomon's Key. Let's have a look. Amstrad first, Commodore 64 second, Spectrum last. See you in a sec. Okay, right, here we are. Solomon's Key for the Amstrad, just loading up here. Really nice loading screen now. As I said in the intro, this is just to share memories, etc. I'm absolutely hopeless at the game, but it's a game that I really do enjoy. Now, today has been the first time I've played the Amstrad version. So let's get into it. If you don't know it, it's a game where you have to, you play a little wizard and you've got to go around smashing blocks, collecting the key on each level to get to the door. There are various different spells, etc. So let's just have a sort of look at it and see what it's like on the Amstrad. Now, those are the controls: QAOP space and enter for fireballs. And I have been really enjoying the Amstrad version of this game. I think it's really, it's a game that I'm fond of anyway, without ever being any good at. But I think the Amstrad version is really nice. Look how colourful it is. It's a little bit slow, I'd sort of say, but not in a way that is horrendous or sort of jarring in any way, shape or form. Now, I've collected that bell. That lets that fairy out. Quite what the fairy does, I don't know. I'm not sure if it's an extra life, etc. or what. I don't know. I haven't worked that out yet. But on the Amstrad version, she's a bit of a pain in the arse to catch. You'll see on the Spectrum version, she seems to be a little bit more... oh! There we go, that's the first level completed. Now, some really nice music going on in the background there. This second level is really quite tricky to start with. You've got to be really quick at it. The first few times I tried it on the Spectrum version as well, I used to keep on getting caught by that skull thing. Now, I just want to smash that block. If you jump up when you're underneath a block, you can smash it. It usually takes 2 goes. And by pressing space, you can sort of like build blocks. Now, there's the fairy bell again, so I'm going to try and get that. And there she goes. Come here. Oh, no, I didn't get her. Oh, dear. Right. Okay, so... this level's a bit tricky. This is where the sort of fireballs come in. You only get a couple. You can see down there on the sort of bottom right where I've got them. Bollocks! Really lovely, nice, bright, chunky, colourful graphics. And the sort of tune going on in the background isn't grating or jarring at all. Really like it. And like I say, I mean, I'm a fan of the game anyway. Oh, now I don't want to waste a fireball unless I have to. Oh, fuck it. But yeah, it's a really good game. Oh, let's get rid of them, or one of them anyway. Right, so having loosed off my fireball, now this one is a bit tricky, this level. Oh, come on. No! Oh shit! Really is a good fun version of the game, this is. Don't think it does anything wrong, really. Nice, colourful, chunky. Ooh. Oh, fuck it, I've done it again. Ho hum. Well, it is Baz, and you know what you get with me. Ah! Gonna have to use a fireball. Oh! It's not an irritating tune at all. It's really quite nice. Oh, I went round that the wrong way, didn't I? But yeah, I've never managed to get very far in Solomon's Key. I think my record on the Spectrum is only about screen 6 or something like that, and I think that was more luck than judgment getting there. Now I've got no fireballs left now. So that's going to make things interesting. But that's the Amstrad version of Solomon's Key, and like I say, I've only been playing that for a short while. I'm really, really impressed with that. Yeah, so shout up your memories, etc. Right, let's move on to the Commodore 64 and we'll see what that's like. Hello, welcome back. Right, here we go. Solomon's Key on the Commodore 64. Now, I am, of course, acutely aware of the issues with the display on my C64 on this TV. I have ordered a block that allows me to use an S-Video lead in this, but it hasn't arrived yet, so I've messed about with colour settings, etc. on my phone, so hopefully that makes things look a little bit nicer. Now, brilliantly, I can play this with keys. AZ, up, down, left arrow, right arrow, left and right. Really nice music going on here, so let's get into Solomon's Key, if we can. I can't remember what button I pressed. Right, okay, there we go. Okay, so here we go. Now, I like the sort of background detail on this one. The sort of Anubis type, or the dragon sort of type monsters on the wall there. Now, already you can see it's quite a bit faster than the Amstrad version was. And that's not a bad thing at all. Not that there was anything wrong with the speed of the Amstrad version. But look at how the sort of fairy zips around in comparison to what we saw just before. So let's try and catch her. Oh, she's going to be a pain in the arse, isn't she? Bloody fairies. But yeah, again, I've been playing this for a short while, and oh fuck it, been really enjoying it. I like the music that plays in the background. I like the style of the graphics. I'm hoping that my sort of short-term fix has made things look a little more palatable for you, because you know there is quite a good amount of detail in the characters on this one. Now let's try and get her again before I reach the door. But like I say, she done half whiz about a bit. Oh, got her. Right, okay. And so grateful that I've got a C64 game I can play with keys. Right, so into the second level now. And this is really an impressive game. You see, this bit was slightly easier than it was on the Amstrad. Not as colourful as that version, but still really playable, and I like the speed on it. It's going at a fair old lick, but it's not too fast. Oh, no. Oh, bollocks! Oh, dear. Baz bites the dust again. So, come on. Best to just let these two go. Now, on the Amstrad version, there was a dog came after the first skull, and that one would be a real pain in the arse, and it doesn't seem to be in the Commodore version. Ah, I've done it again! Built a block in the wrong place. But what a fun game. Again, Commodore owners, if you knew Solomon's Key back in the day, shout up your memories, please, because I'm interested to hear what you thought of it. Now what? Can't remember what I was going to say. Never mind. Right, there is a fairiness. And I got her. Right, so on to the next level. Now this is the one that I kept spannering it up on the Amstrad version. Let's see if I can fare any better on this. I doubt it. Can't remember what's the button for. Oh, I can't find what the button for the fireball is. Bollocks. But this is a really good, fun game. Oh, oh shit! It's just me that's no good at it. How far did you manage to get in Solomon's Key? So as you can see, it's quite different from the Amstrad version, and it's very different from the Spectrum version, as you'll see. But it still maintains the playability, etc. of the game. What's the fucking button for the fireball? Oh well, never mind. Let's do it this way then. Now, like I showed you before, that was a tricky manoeuvre to do on the Amstrad version to actually. Oh. Yeah, things are moving slightly quicker on the Commodore 64 version than the Amstrad version. There we go. That was just a very, very quick go of... what's that? Oh, that's a password. That was just a very, very quick go of Solomon's Key on the Spectrum. No, it's not the Spectrum. The Spectrum's next. Commodore 64. Okay, right. Let's move on to the final version, which is the Spectrum. See you in a sec. Okay, right, here we go. Solomon's Key on the Spectrum. This is the final version that we're seeing. This is the one I'm most familiar with. As I said, I played this a little bit without being ever any good at it. I've always enjoyed it. I think I've only ever got to about screen 7, and I think I fluked that. Right, okay, let's go into it and see how it compares. Now, straight away, you can see there is a lot of difference colour-wise, as you would expect. Between the Spectrum and the Amstrad and Commodore 64 versions, i.e. there's hardly any of it in the, well, I say hardly any, there's those yellow and blue blocks. But what it lacks in colour in the graphics, it makes up for in detail. There really is some nice detail going on in the Spectrum graphics. You can see a lot more character in the main sort of character that you play, as well as the baddies. They're a little bit less well defined in either of the other versions. So here we go. Right, this second screen is a bloody pig on the Spectrum version. You've got to get this bit just right at the start, otherwise you knacker it right up. And on the C64 and Amstrad, it seemed to be a hell of a lot easier. But as you can see, that little fox thing isn't there in the other versions. Well, it didn't appear to be anyway. So I've got another fireball that I can use. Go and get the bell to try and get the fairy. Let them get out of the way first. And there we go. Right, this one is the one that's always a pain in the arse, as we saw before. Let's get rid of both of them, because they follow you around otherwise, as you saw. So, fairy button. Where's she gone? Right, she's down there. Okay. But yeah, it's a really fun game. Oh. Right, come on, Baz, can you do it? Oh! Nearly, nearly. Come on. Oh, bollocks, 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 bollocks. Ah. Right, I've got to start all the way up here again. Oh, fuck. And I've only got one fireball left now. Ah. Even though I've opened up the entrance, or the exit even. Now, you can nut this block out of the way on both the Spectrum and Commodore 64 versions, but the Amstrad, these sparky things, go a bit too fast and you can't actually do that, which is a pain because it means you end up having to waste a fireball. Or at least it seems that you can't do it. Right, he comes out. Right. Oh! Aye! But anyway, I've managed to get this far on all three versions. I'm not going to get much further because I'm shit at it. So there we go, Spectrum, Amstrad, Commodore. Let's go to the outro. Okay, there we had it, all three versions of Solomon's Key, and I have to say that I enjoyed each one. Really good, fun little game, very competent conversions. I loved the way the Amstrad's graphics were nice and colourful and chunky. I liked the music going on through it. Similarly with the Commodore 64, it was the zippiest of the three. I think moved significantly quicker than the other two versions. Great music going on through it. Again, great that you could play it with keys. Godsend for me on Commodore 64 games. Really, really good fun game. And the Spectrum version, resolution wise, is probably the cleanest and the sharpest. But having said that, all three of them, you know, really, really good fun conversions. If you owned any of those systems back in the day, and Solomon's Key was a game that you got, you would not have been jealous of anyone that owned any of the other versions. It's a really good game. What do you want? If it's not the cat, it's you, isn't it? What's the matter, dog? Yes, you're a good boy. We go walkies in a minute, okay? Yeah, so there we have it. A game that I sort of like return to fairly regularly because I quite enjoy it. I only ever managed to get to about level 7 myself. It does ramp up in difficulty quite spectacularly, but it is a really competent, fun little game. I'm interested to hear what you think of it. If you like the video, please let me know. If you wish to subscribe, please do so. But, as I always say, if you do subscribe, please join in with the conversations because that's what it's all about. Take care. Goodbye.